video, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Tonight, I'm not intending on being here for a very long time because I just wanted to come on here and send out a congratulations to the UConn women for winning their 12th national championship in women's college basketball, and the Florida Gators men because they won their third national championship last night in men's college basketball. Now, the UConn game Sunday wasn't close. They won by more than 20 points, but the game never really was in doubt. And I know that, UConn is the storied program in women's college basketball, but, South Carolina women have been the better team now for 3 or 4 years, or UConn finally got some small revenge this year by winning their first national championship in quite a while. Hey there, Austin. Glad to have you here. And then if you watched the game last night, Florida only led for 1 minute of the whole game. And I so wanted Houston to win. I was pulling for them so bad. And I'm glad the game was Florida and Houston because honestly, if it was Florida and Duke, I wouldn't have watched 1 minute of it. But since it was Florida and Houston, I watched it just to hopefully see Houston win it. I'm not a Houston fan, but, until Kelvin Sampson became their coach, for 15 or 20 years, they just were not any good at college basketball. Hey there, Arthur. Glad to have you here. And Houston had multiple chances to run away with it. In the first half, at one point, I think Florida had 10 turnovers and Houston had 2. And I am sorry to hear that, Arthur. I hate to hear any kind of depressed or negative news anytime, day or night. So I hate to hear that, Arthur. So I apologize that your dog died. I know dogs can be like children. You get attached to them very, very easy. Hey there. I'm going to assume your name is Sonny. I'm glad to have you here on this Tuesday night. And not only did Florida have 10 turnovers and Houston had 2, but Houston was dominating and rebounds too. So they were getting, twice as many possessions between turnovers and rebounds, and they just couldn't make a shot. At one time, I think it was the under 12 timeout in the first half, both teams were 0 for 7 from downtown. But not only that, Houston, all their field goals were basically dunks and layups. If they were more than 3 foot from the basket, they weren't going to make it. And you were in the live stream. That's good. That's good, son. I guess I just forgot about that. And yes, Austin, I did watch some NXT. I also was listening to the Braves while I had NXT on. So I'm a multitasker. I have to do more than one thing at one time. And Arthur, having a quiet dog is always a good thing. But Houston dominated the whole first half. The second half, they came out, and Florida picked up 5 fouls in the first, 2:39 of the second half, and Houston got up to, I believe, an 11-point lead and just couldn't put it away. But they still had a chance at the very, very end because they had the ball down by 2, and he went up for a shot and decided halfway up in the air not to shoot it and let the ball go. And once you do that, you cannot be the first one to touch it. So the ball hits the ground and just bounces and rolls, and no Cougar touched it. And by the time they did touch it, the game ended. So Florida wins it. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And in just about every team ever in any sport has 2 or 3 games where they skate by and they're lucky to win, And that was the case again last night for Florida. But hey, being lucky is part of what helps you win national championships. Good evening, Jalen. Glad to have you here. And again, Sonny, I do apologize. I guess it's just been so long that I just don't recall you being in here. I guess that's why you said you were back. I was wondering, why is Sonny back? Where'd they go? But I guess that's because you've been here before and I just don't remember. And again, I apologize for that. But the channel has grown tremendously over the past probably 3 weeks, which I'm really, really glad that it has. But because it has, sometimes there's people on here that I recall seeing their names, and sometimes I just don't. But again, congratulations to the Yukon women, and congratulations to the Florida Gator men. And now we can focus on NASCAR and Major League Baseball and college baseball up until college football starts. Now, I know we have the NBA playoffs, but most people don't watch the NBA playoffs in its entirety because it lasts way too long. But you do watch the NBA finals once the NBA finals finally starts. But the NBA playoffs, just the playoffs themselves, are long enough to be a whole season. So we will watch the NBA, you know, finals, and you might watch a game or two during the playoffs. But it's hard to watch every single playoff game, and you have two this night, two this night, two this night, because unless you have nothing else to do and no plans, you're going to miss some of those games. But we will have Major League Baseball and college baseball and NASCAR to take us up to college football season. The next game for who, Sonny? Who are you asking me about? Because that was the last game for college basketball. And of course, Major League Baseball just started about 2 weeks ago, and it goes all the way through October. And NASCAR, of course, goes through November, but they only race once per week. That's the good thing about NASCAR is the season's long, but they only race once a week. So it makes you hungry for the next race because you have to wait a whole week before you see the next race. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Just got my electricity bill, and I believe I got charged for the sunlight, the moonlight, the street light, the light of my life, and the light at the end of the tunnel. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them.